This is Spreaker Web Radio.
Hello and welcome to the second in the soon-to-be award-winning podcast, Waxing Lyrical with Mainz and Dutts. I'm Mainz. This is Dutts. Say hello, Dutts.
Now then.
Excellent. Not going to use hello, Dutts. I'm glad to see that. We're not the two Ronnies.
I'm not wedded to props.
Not wedded to props, yeah, of course. So today we're going to go through a few different things. First of all, we're going to do a Skyfall review. Very brief. No spoilers, I promise, Symes. And if there is, we'll edit it and Dutton will have a black eye if you've seen them later. Secondly, we're going to go through sport and rivalries, and we'll discuss why a bit later on. Part 3, Dutton's going to give us his best movie bad guys, or the world's best movie bad guys, as I assume they are exactly the same thing, or they are according to Neil. And finally, we're going to do an interactive segment, or it will be interactive, called Most Boring Kale, and we'll elaborate on that a bit later on. So first of all, we're going to talk about Skyfall. Firstly, I'm going to describe it in noise. Now, why I've gone for it, Steve Davis' safety shot is we're English and polite, and that's how we'd clap a spectacular film, which it was. It was really good, and if you haven't seen it, I want to know why. It's been on for 24 hours. What have you been doing with your life?
Work.
And Tony boozing does not count.
Yeah, work can't be that important to you.
It can't. I mean, everyone's pulled a sickie every now and again, does you know what I mean? So we're just going to briefly talk about three things in relation to the film. First of all, it was a wink, a nudge, a look back at previous Bonds. Dutton counted 10, which probably means there was 9. But anyway, that who cares? It was a lot, wasn't it?
There was a lot. No one loves an in-joke more than me, a nod back, as Mainz says. And the good thing is, it didn't go over the top with it. So that was good for the ardent Bond fan.
Second of all, we're gonna talk about the women, Dutton.
Very, very poor.
See,
Again.
I like the Asian lady. I was not convinced by the others. What I would say is that it looks like, in terms of Bond as an entity, going down the Bourne angle, so to speak, has made it let's get down to business. Let's not do the business.
Yeah, the job seems to be, because obviously the last 3 have all ended. The last 3 Bond films, all of Daniel Craig's, have all ended with him finishing the job rather than finishing off.
Yeah, correct. And finally, we're going to talk about locations. It was set in Shanghai, Macau, London, and a little bit in Scotland as well. Spectacular locations and views. Very well done by the guys. I mean, Shanghai and Macau especially made me look up tickets on lastminute.com to see if I could get there as soon as possible.
Obviously only at night, as apparently by the looks of it, they're the only times that they have in Shanghai and Macau. I don't think they've discovered day.
They haven't discovered day. I think most people sleep during the day, obviously.
Well, I'd go with that.
I mean, that's all we're going to talk about on Skyfall, because I know a lot of you haven't seen it, because you're not as sad as me and Dutts. And you're welcome, Signs. We didn't spoil it. I told you we wouldn't. So we're going to move on now to our next subject. I really do like that noise, you know. I like it. I don't know why.
There's something quintessentially quaint about it.
I shouldn't like it, but I do. So, in lieu of the fact, tomorrow at 1:30, Everton Football Club have their FA Cup final, their European Cup final, and their World Cup final rolled into one. That's right, the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Yes, Gibbo, I went there. What are you going to do about it? Well, probably switch off, but that's fine. You know, I'll just get the other 3 listeners to listen instead. Dutton's laughing, by the way. You know, obviously you thought he was on your side, but when I'm funny, it doesn't really matter, does it?
I should point out that of the 2 football clubs, Everton were the only one of the 2 that didn't sack me. So
that's a reason. Surely that reason that they should be mocked rather than lauded.
Well, you say that.
And no response after that.
No.
So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly go through sport and rivalries in relation to teams, then in relation to individuals. First of all, the main, in terms of football at the moment, the main football rivalry really is Real Madrid-Barcelona. But I mean, it's not just a football rivalry; it's a city-wide rivalry, and it's obviously a political rivalry. If anyone who's done 20th century history, which me and Dutton have, which makes us both losers. But anyway,
the ladies love almost as much as they love the numbers.
Yeah, love numbers and obviously love 20th century history and politics. Yeah, we rock. So I mean, this rivalry's been going on for many a year, and it seems to escalate at the moment due to TV coverage and the Ronaldo Messi thing into a mass thing. Do you agree?
I do agree. It's a bit like on a much grander and much more glamorous scale. It's a bit like the old firm, in that deep down, unless you're really really bored, you're not going to watch either of those teams against Seville or Betis or Osasuna or Sporting Gijón. The same way you're not going to watch Rangers against Livingston with all the best will in the world. It's cultural. It splits down very 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 controversial lines going back to the Spanish Civil War and the fact that ever since General Franco declared himself a fan, the Spanish government has basically bankrolled Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, me and Dutton split down the line on this, and what I would say is just because Dutton likes Real Madrid does not make him a nationalist fascist, and me supporting Barcelona does not make me an independent socialist. That's just a coincidence on both sides.
Just a coincidence, and I have you can't prove otherwise.
We're here all week. So next, rivalries in terms of your teams, or maybe from a European standpoint in terms of football. And what I will say is that the next one I'm going to describe makes them look like a party in a park, and that's River Plate against Boca Juniors from Buenos Aires in Argentina. If you ever get the chance, just YouTube River Boca. It's frightening, and I mean that not in a ooh, doesn't it look nice? I mean, no, it looks frightening, as in I don't want to go. I'm really scared. Mum, can you hug me?
Football is not the priority during these games. I think the players are aware that they're supposed to be the basic rules of football. Score more than them do exist, but no,
they don't care, and it's there's been some wonderful players play for both those football clubs. The main one obviously being Diego Maradona for Boca Juniors. That was Dutton sniffing. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason. You can work it out for yourselves. But but really, even when he's played, it's not really been about the football. It's kind of been a last man standing debate. Okay, he probably was the last man standing because he was too quick for anyone to kick him, and too skillful. But even so,
he did get high, bit bigger.
He did get fat, yeah, and he does allegedly like cocaine, although that's not allegedly.
He's not addicted to cocaine. Apparently, he just likes the smell.
Okay, poo. Sorry, that's getting a little bit. We're it all. Quickly moving on before Diego Maradona hunts us down and kills us.
Pretty sure I can outrun him.
Yeah.
Although if Terry Fenwick couldn't keep up with him back in '86, how am I supposed to now?
Peter Reid had 7 goals on him, didn't he? And got nowhere near him. We're going to move on to Dutton's favourite sport, and a favourite of mine. So see you later, ladies, and that's cricket. Obviously, the main rivalry in terms of us, although obviously the Indians and the Pakistanis may differ on this, is the biggest rivalry in the sport is England against Australia.
I did see on just a side note of that, a couple of years ago it was advertised as cricket's oldest rivalry, India-Pakistan. Well, as Pakistan was a country only about 50 years ago, I find that somewhat fatuous, considering that the USA and Canada have an older cricket rivalry than India-Pakistan. But yeah, it's England-Australia. It's known as, in Test cricket as well, it's the Ashes. Many legends about where the Ashes come from, where they're from a bale, where they're from a stump, where they're from the Honourable Ivor Bryce fireplace. We don't know, and we probably never will know. But
we probably don't care.
I couldn't give a shit. I couldn't care less. All that matters, we've won 3 of the last 4 Ashes series.
It's a lot more fun. Rivalries are a lot more fun when you win.
Oh yeah, war is much more fun when you're winning. Defeat tends to make the wounds ache. Australia can of course point to the fact that the last one they won 5-0.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Apparently, a lot of people have forgotten this series.
The good thing about losing 5-0 to Australia is most of the games start at midnight and finish at like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was in bed at all that time, so I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, it was a bit like you can always black it out. It's just like oh well.
Oh well. Went on to I don't know what. Or probably would have looked on me on my Sony Ericsson phone at the time via some crap sports webpage and gone, oh my god, we didn't get a wicket all day. Okay, bye. Off to
it
uni.
is. I mean, even for the English, you go back. It's since Australia came to like the fore, like 1995 as the world powerhouse. England didn't really do well against them, but a little bit of like retro importance. Everyone points out that the Ashes were so important in the 80s. No, they weren't, because the last time I checked, the Ashes weren't played by the West Indies. So when we beat Australia in 81 and 85, sandwiched between those two, we got done 5-0 twice by the West Indies.
Two quote unquote blackwashers.
Two blackwashers.
I'm not sure that you'd be allowed to publish that now, but that's what it was called then.
But when it comes to the rivalry, I mean, England recently were the best cricket team in the world in terms of Test cricket. We've now lost it to South Africa.
For a week and a half.
Yeah. I don't care about being number one. I just want to be better than Australia.
Yeah, okay. In terms of I don't want to be number one, I just want to beat them. We're going to move into America for a couple in baseball. What the Americans describe as the biggest rivalry in sports, which is Sox-Yanks, which is the Boston Red Sox against the New York Yankees, which now, is Liverpool versus the New York Yankees, obviously due to John Henry owning both the Boston Red Sox and Liverpool Football Club, and also mainly due to the fact that they're both crap at the moment. These two teams have played each other in the same division for over 100 years, and they don't like each other. And one of the major reasons they grew a hatred of each other is that the Yankees kept on winning and the Red Sox didn't. After they traded a pitcher named Babe Ruth to the Yanks, who turned him into the greatest baseball player of all time.
Never heard of him.
Exactly. I'm just talking now, and no one's got a clue what I'm talking about. I am praying to God that someone in America's listened to this and's gone, this Scouser lad knows what he's talking about. Not too bad.
Because there's no Scousers saying that right now.
No. As a man who's got an LA Dodgers hat on, I'm talking about Sox Yanks anyway. Really losing the link here. The Sox have won recently and they've started spending a lot of money. But the Yankees have got 27 world titles, and that's quite a lot. And every dude and his mother's got a New York Yankees hat on, even if they don't know. It's that funny N and Y on your hat.
It's not a New York.
It's not a New York. It's a Yankees thing. The last American one is a college football one, and it's just I'm not going to go into it much. Just it's Auburn versus Alabama, from the state of Alabama. Yeah, there is after liking all the American people liking me, I'm now going to like diss them and say, yeah, you do. That is your sister and your wife. You're not supposed to do that. Yeah.
Although, I mean, why would the Simpsons have made out that Cletus the slack-jawed yokel existed all these years? Why would they have lied to us about these people?
Stereotypes are made for a reason, yeah. As me and Dutton run off with someone's tyres from their car.
Lad.
Chief. But what I want to talk about is when Auburn win, they used to throw tissue paper on a tree. I don't know why. I'm just telling you the story. A massive Alabama fan who had an Alabama and have got like an elephant as their mascot tattoo on his belly, decided he hated this Auburn and this tree that much that he poisoned it and killed it. Could you imagine being that arsed about another team that you killed their favourite tree?
It's
exactly. It's one of my favourite stories. I hate them that much. I'm going to kill their tree.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I'm struggling to try to find a suitable analogy. It's a bit like, hating Everton that much, you invade the pitch and batter the toffee lady before the game.
Exactly. It's not going to go, is it? It's not going to go. Although I wish you'd stop selling them mint humbugs. Okay. Finally, we're going to briefly talk about the biggest rivalry in English football. Yeah, I'm going to say it, even though we're crap. It's Liverpool versus Manchester United, ladies and gentlemen. I know, I said it out loud. Okay, I know.
You are started solo on this one.
I know. If you started watching football in 1992 with Richard Keys and Andy Gray, you'll think, oh my God, look, why have they got a rivalry when Liverpool have won nothing and Manchester United won everything? That's true, and I can't deny that because it's as Rafa Benitez would say, fact.
It's not speculation. It's fact.
This is fact. I don't know why Dutton made Rafa Benitez Dutch then, by the way. But anyway, but if you went back to when like the footy was on ITV,
he
and
sold
the match,
Xabi Alonso when he
oh
when
God,
he takes that
let it
back,
go.
I'll improve the impression.
Let it go. I can't. I love Xabi Alonso. I can't believe he brought
Do you know
it
he
up.
used to play for Liverpool?
Oh, Liverpool's former Liverpool player Xabi Alonso, as he's called him.
ITV never tell us this.
Sky, Rob Palmer tells you on Sky when a Real Madrid versus Osasuna game. I don't care. I know he played for Liverpool, do you know? Because I cry every time he hugs Cristiano Ronaldo. Right. Anyway, but if you watch footy before that, you know, on ITV, the match when pitches were boggy, Liverpool won and Man U didn't, and the two cities hate each other.
This again goes back. Is this cultural?
It's cultural, and recently it's been personal, and it shouldn't be. They should just hate each other because they're Man U and we're Liverpool, and they're from Manchester and we're from Liverpool, and that's kind of the. I don't want to get into all the other nonsense. That's where it should stand. What I would say is that I feel a rivalry personally because my dad from Kirby supports Manchester United and has done for his entire life, which means he got to put up with a load of crap throughout the first 25 years of his life, but he is absolutely ecstatic that basically for my entire existence he's got to lord it over me. Good luck to him. I hate you, Dad. That's it. Now quickly we're going to move on to individuals. See the way I hit the vocal there? That was good, wasn't it?
Seamless.
Individually, so we're going to just go through a couple here because we're running a bit short of time, I'm not going to lie to you. Rafa Roger, tennis. No, you don't balls of Mason. I don't watch tennis, I don't know what you're talking about. These two are really, really good. And they played some epic tennis matches, and if it's on clay, Rafa's won. And if it's on grass, Roger's won until Rafa won. So now Rafa will be better, apart from the fact he's got no knees.
It's a rivalry that basically has been split by, for the first part of it, they broke British hearts by beating Henman, and for the most part, and yeah, I acknowledge he's won a major, great, well done.
And a gold medal.
And a gold medal. Scotland's number one has had his heart broken by one or both of them.
So, as you well know, in the Greg Rosetsky, Lennox Lewis world, when you win, you're English. When you lose, you're the other country.
Yeah, Johnny Foreigner.
Johnny Foreigner, exactly. Then there's one of my favourites, which is in after just ranting about people talking about the Premier League all the time. It's Sir Alex against Arsene Wenger.
From the Golden.
Yes, we're talking when he first started, when he called him that French school teacher. And, you know, when Overmars scores that meg against Schmeichel. You know, when Viltord wins, see the way I only remember when Arsenal won all the titles and don't remember Man U. Not that I'm bitter, obviously. No. As Gibbo's probably tweeting as we speak.
Yeah. Can I just point out, you know, of course, that at one stage, Arsenal, while second in the league, did lose 6-1.
6-1. Dwight York hat-trick. One of Dwight York's final goals for Manchester United. Exactly. I mean, last year they got beat 8-2. And they like each other now. And when I say they like each other, they probably respect each other. And Alex Ferguson says nice things about Arsene Wenger. And that, ladies and gents, is a problem. Because if Sir Alex Ferguson likes you, that means he doesn't respect you as a team. That means he doesn't care about you anymore. If he hates you, then that's a good thing.
It started really when Mourinho came to Chelsea. They thought Ferguson thought, I'm going to have a pop at you. But Mourinho, for some reason, has it over Sir Alex. So he went, well, I'll just pick on Wenger then. Mourinho's just like, you pick on who you want. I'm not interested. You're not me, ergo you're not important.
As my dad will quite rightly point out, the reason that my dad singly believes that the reason that Jose Mourinho is on like £6 million a year at Real Madrid is because Phil Neville pushed over what's that guy's name? The centre mid for Porto in the last minute at Old Trafford. He singly points to the fact that he doesn't think that he would have been any good. He wouldn't have been the quote-unquote special one apart from Phil Neville. Again, back to the derby tomorrow. Let's hope he gets sent off.
Well, you know, he's pretty sure a lot of Evertonians will hope he's not playing.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I to be fair, I don't mind Phil Neville.
My views are not those of Everton Football Club. It's fans, shareholders, subsidiaries. I'm just sitting here trying to think of something to say.
Next one, Jack versus Arnold. Golf. Oh my God. It means he's doing American sport, tennis and golf. In the olden days when telly was black and white, there was these two golfers. One was called Jack Nicklaus and the other one was called Arnold Palmer. They were really good and they won loads of stuff. Jack was...
We should explain for any English golfers, winning stuff means when you have a better score at the end of a tournament, and doesn't mean the Ryder Cup.
I hear what you're saying, Dutton. I hear what you're saying. Again, when you win the English, Rory McIlroy and Graham McDowell from Belfast are both in. Well, Rory's from Hollywood, in Ireland, not in America.
No.
And also possibly one of the greatest sporting Britons of all time, won 6 majors. Call Madison Ford, I will knock you out. That's right, that's Sir Nick Faldo.
I thought Crystal Skull was maybe one too far.
Shut up! He doesn't look like Madison Ford. Okay, he does. But anyway, back to Jack and Arnie. They were amazing golfers. They basically made golf popular and basically brought about the likes of the Tiger Woods of this world, and obviously
who makes golf unpopular?
Well, he makes sleeping with Perkins waitresses popular, probably.
I think that's probably popular anyway.
Don't know. Depends what Perkins waitress you've got.
True.
I'm sure we're going down the line that we're going to get arrested for it.
Pretty
so I'm going to probably back away from it.
Yeah.
So ladies, you've thought, okay, he's talked about footy, cricket, baseball, college football. Of course, he hasn't talked about American football. And in our lifetime, best sporting rivalry from an individual point of view has got to be Manning versus Brady, done.
Yeah, Brady of course has the edge in that he has the 3 bits of jewellery to Manning's 1. Peyton Manning, fairly or unfairly, has the reputation throughout his career of he'll look great, but he won't win the big game. Whereas Tom Brady is usually the guy you want to win you the big game. He could literally be off the field for 58 minutes, 2 minutes to win the game. Yeah, we'll wheel out Tom. There have been some epic battles, usually at the early part of the New England dynasty, as it were. And oddly, not very many wins since Spygate.
Weird that you thought that when I said Manning versus Brady, I was talking about Peyton Manning and not Eli. 2-0 against Brady in Super Bowls.
But not in regular season.
They never play in regular season, no, do they?
No, they're 1-1 in regular season.
Somehow, like when Peyton and Tom play, like he played every year in the playoffs, and then randomly, although they don't play in the same division, and the league makes sure that you play every team all the time. They played each other every year.
Usually at Foxborough as well.
It's some kind of mathematical anomaly, obviously. The final sporting rivalry we're going to do, because we've got a couple minutes, is Ali against Fraser. 3 great fights, if you like boxing. If you don't, it's still worth a watch, and obviously, anytime you get to listen to Muhammad Ali talk, it's an absolutely wonderful thing. They were great fights. They just beat the crap out of each other.
That was when boxing was
popular.
Yeah, that was when the heavyweight game was not a joke and a stage managed farce that it is now. That was Ali and Fraser knowing that their family's feeding was dependent on you knocking the next guy out, and the next guy knew that his family's feeding was dependent on knocking you out. And that's why the heavyweight in that time, especially Ali, one of the greatest sportsmen of all time. And if it hadn't been Ali, Fraser would be the greatest.
Yeah, it's probably true. Okay, guys, we're going to move on. Right, we're going to give Dutton 5 minutes now to talk as he gets his paper out. Oh my god, ladies, he's going to talk stats again. We're going to do best movie bad guys.
Not really stats, not a great deal of numbers. I mean, apparently I tried to explain to my employers that I was busy this week, but they insisted that I actually do some work. I just, where they get off, I don't know. Anyway, top 5 movie bad guys. And I'm going to be specific about these as well. I'm not just going to randomly say them. Number 5 is Hans Gruber from Die Hard, a film.
I love Die Hard. I can't stress how much I love Die Hard. It's possibly my favourite Christmas film.
It's a great Christmas film, and it did spawn a wonderful catchphrase of yippee-ki-yay, and
yeah,
that'll
do because this is a family show.
The 4th. It's not controversial, but it's just I've said this before. It's not a performance I think our generation will be able to judge dispassionately. The Joker, and by the Joker I mean Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, my mum watched Dark Knight a couple of weeks ago, and her phrase was, "Ooh, I don't really like him." Yeah, well, you're not supposed to. He's a bad guy, Mum.
He's a comedic, sadistic bad guy.
He's a comedian. He's just frighteningly.
He's not
loony.
Yeah, no explanation of why he's not like Jack Nicholson's Joker. Started off as an evil person anyway, and then became a psychopath. This fella's just loop to loop. 3rd, he goes by many names. I'll go by 2 he has. Is Emperor Palpatine or Darth Sidious. Which basically, if you watch the prequel trilogy of Star Wars, if you have to, it's really about the seduction of the dark side of the Force of Anakin Skywalker, handled by Emperor Palpatine, or Senator, or Chancellor Palpatine. The embodiment of evil. As depressed Darth said on Twitter, it's Follow Friday. Don't follow Emperor Palpatine. It won't end well.
I can't believe Dutton just not only follows like a comedy Darth Vader on Twitter. Actually, I can't believe that Dutton follows a comedy Darth Vader on Twitter. He is a bad guy, like. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Somehow the films were the wrong way round. And he looked younger in the new ones than he did in the old ones.
Yeah.
It's strange, like. That's just me.
Number 2, and this is what I said about being specific.
Oh God.
Is Darth Vader in A New Hope, i.e. Star Wars, the first one. That's when he's back. He's only actually in the film.
Star Wars, the fourth one.
The fourth one, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
So he's only actually
3.
in the film a total of 12 minutes in the first one. But that's because some dude turns up in a black cape and suit. He looks scary, and he sounds mean with that voice. In Empire Strikes Back, he's in it all the time, and he's a bit of a wimp, apart from when he chokes Admiral Ozzel at the beginning for disappointing me for the last time, Admiral. But then in Jedi, he's like Fathers for Justice in Jedi. Just because it is too powerful.
He dresses up in a Spider-Man costume.
Basically, yeah.
He climbs a bridge.
It is too late, my son. It's just wimpy.
He is, but obviously we all know that the best Darth Vader is Stewie and Family Guy.
Of course, yeah. He did a Darth duty. his diaper went over to the dark side, and so on.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask what the issue was.
You've got to think even a Dark Lord of the Sith could protect a small thermal exhaust port. It's only 2 meters wide. But for me, my favourite, and this is going to be the controversial one, this is where people are going to disagree, but this is where people need to remember who it is saying this list, so why are you surprised?
People are going to disagree with Dutton, who would have thought it.
Yeah. Khan Noonien Singh, i.e. genetic superhero of the late 1990s, star of the Star Trek original series episode Space Eve, and also you saw a film featuring his Wrath of Khan, the ultimate... They can't get in here, can they? The doors are locked.
No, they are just baying at the door.
It's just,
Okay, I can't. I'd love to argue, but you're the loser in this group, so we can't. So we're going to quickly move on, as we've only got 2.5 minutes left. So last and not by no means least, we're going to have an interactive section moving forward, and that is called The Most Boring Kale. What The Most Boring Kale is we had a group of friends, 2 of which are called Gary and Michael, or Mick and Gaz, or Roy and Mick, or whatever they call themselves. And they are boring. Very boring.
We love them.
We love them, but they're boring. And
not all the time, we should stress.
We don't love them all the time, or they're not boring?
They're not boring all the time.
So on holiday we have a concept called Most Boring Kale, which is you tell a story and you realise everyone realises halfway through it's very boring. Don't give us an example.
The character from Brookside, Sinbad, was so called because he was a window cleaner and he used to never clean the corners, i.e. as if he was on a ship. So Sinbad the sailor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mick Kale, Most Boring Kale, Barcelona.
Yeah. It's an organic award though. You can't go into this with the goal that you're going to bore people. It's when you just say something randomly and it's
natural.
Boring.
It's natural and it's boring. Dutton, I had one this week. What was it?
Whose idea was stale bread and soup, and did we knight them? If not, why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's me. I love croutons in soup.
But he emailed me that.
I emailed them.
I had to check my email to read that.
Yeah, I recently was in another country, namely Wales, and I was involved in a conversation with 3 people on a bus timetable for Bedau to Cardiff. I wanted to shoot myself in the head. It was awful. Sorry, Hannah, it's not personal. What we're going to do now, we're going to ask you to contact us with your most boring Kale. Do you have a story that's so boring everyone needs to know? Or do you have friends that are so boring that they've told you and you've fallen asleep? Easiest way to do this is via our email address. I've created an email address. It's waxinglyricalpod@gmail.com. It's all one word. You can follow us on Twitter @waxinglyrical. Or you can just contact me and Dutton individually. I'm @Mainzy7, that's MAINZEY7. And Dutton is @NDutton13.
I like followers.
Dutton loves followers. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Waxing Lyrical with Mainz and Dutts, episode number 2. For me, it's goodbye, Dutton.
Yeah.
Latest, people.